Blood marked the clean, white marble floors inside London's fanciest secret underground sale room. Pieces of very rich people who seemed untouchable now lay cut apart on the ground. Genevieve believed her stepmother selling her to scary debt collectors was the worst thing that could happen, and the end of her life. She had no idea it was really the very bloody start of her own powerful time as a ruler. To people outside, the Carmichael family, who lived in the rich area called Belgravia, looked like a fancy old family that was slowly losing its shine. When Arthur Carmichael died suddenly from a big heart problem, many people felt sad and said goodbye to a smart man who bought and sold buildings and land. But inside their tall six-floor house with heavy wooden doors, things were much darker and scarier than anyone knew. Arthur had left behind huge hidden money problems. His second wife, Beatrice, was the kind of person who would do anything bad to save herself, even if it hurt everyone else. Genevieve Carmichael was Arthur's only real daughter from his first marriage. She became the person her stepmother blamed for all the money troubles. While Beatrice and her two daughters, Chloe and Madison, went to big fancy parties wearing expensive designer dresses and shiny jewels, Genevieve had to stay hidden away. She lost all the money and things that should have come to her because of tricky legal moves that Beatrice's mean lawyers used. Genevieve was forced to work as a servant in the same big house where she grew up as a child, and she got no pay for it. The money Beatrice owed was not to a normal bank. It was owed to a group called the Mercer Group. This group worked from a big, plain-looking tall building in an area called Canary Wharf. People who worked with money in the city whispered that the Mercers were like dangerous lenders for super-rich people. But the real truth was even scarier, like something from a bad dream. The Mercer Group did not use normal money when someone could not pay back what they owed. They were a secret group of creatures that lived at night and looked like normal business people during the day. They fed on people who were desperate and had nothing left. Genevieve first saw the strange men 1 week before she turned 21 years old. They sat inside black cars with dark windows, parked right across from the big house. These men had very white skin, moved in ways that did not look normal, and wore dark glasses to hide their eyes, even when it was raining in London. The big betrayal happened on a Tuesday night. Beatrice told the few workers left in the house to go home early, which was not normal for her. She asked Genevieve to come into the big fancy eating room. This kind act made Genevieve feel very scared right away. Chloe and Madison sat at the table, but would not look at Genevieve. They nervously played with their wine glasses. "Sit down, Genevieve," Beatrice said in a cold voice. She pushed a cup of tea across the shiny wooden table. "Drink this? You look very tired." "What is happening, Beatrice?" Genevieve asked. She did not touch the cup. "Why did you send all the workers away? Why are there 3 black cars waiting outside our house?" Beatrice let out a long breath and touched her green necklace. "Your father, may he rest in peace, borrowed a lot of money from a man named Dominic Mercer. The time to pay back ended yesterday. They want their money now, £5 million, or something just as valuable instead." Genevieve's heart beat very fast and hard. "We do not have £5 million. You used the last of the money to buy that big house in Monaco." "Exactly," Madison said with a mean smile. She finally stopped looking nervous. "That is why Mother made a special deal." Suddenly, the front door of the house did not just open. It was broken right off its strong metal parts with a huge loud crash. Genevieve jumped up, but her head started to feel dizzy. The whole room seemed to tilt and move. She looked at the tea she had not drunk. The smell in the air from it had a strong sleep medicine mixed in that you could breathe in. 4 men walked into the eating room. They wore very nice, expensive suits made in London, but they stopped looking human after that. The man who let them was Dominic Mercer. His eyes were completely black, with no white parts at all. His skin was as white as smooth stone. When he smiled, his mouth opened wider than normal and showed sharp teeth like needles. Genevieve stepped back on shaky legs that felt heavy. What are you?" she gasped. She held onto the table so she would not fall. "You are the payment," Dominic said in a low voice that vibrated and made her teeth hurt. He threw a thick leather folder onto the table. "The money owed by the Carmichael family is now paid, Beatrice. Here is a clean, special human girl from a good family line. She will sell for a lot of money at the Pens in Surrey." "Take her and leave," Beatrice said. Her voice shook a little, but she did not turn around to look at Genevieve as the girl fell to her knees. "Please," Genevieve cried out. Her words became unclear as the medicine pulled her into darkness. "Chloe, Madison, you cannot do this." Her stepsisters just looked away. Dominic Mercer moved forward faster than eyes could follow. His cold, hard hand grabbed Genevieve around the neck and lifted her easily off the floor. "Sweet dreams, little bird," he whispered. His cold breath touched her ear. "You belong to the monsters now." Everything went completely black. When Genevieve woke up, she smelled metal like blood, strong perfume. Her head hurt in a bad, steady way. When she could see clearly again, the terrible truth hit her. She was trapped inside a fancy cage made of decorated iron. She was not alone. She was in a huge underground fancy room that looked like it was cut out of rock, deep under a big house. Pretty crystal lights hung from high stone ceilings and gave a soft golden light. But the people there were the really scary part. Many rich-looking people stood around the middle stage where her cage was. They wore very expensive clothes like fancy suits and long dresses, but their faces had no kindness or warmth like normal people. They drank thick, dark red liquid from pretty glasses. The room had a low, hungry sound. These were the strong hunters from a hidden world. They controlled parts of normal human life, but treated people like animals to use. Dominic Mercer stood on the sale stage next to her cage. He tapped a silver hammer on the bars. "Ladies and gentlemen of the night group," he said loudly, so everyone in the big room could hear. "Tonight, we have something special. Not a poor child from the street or someone running away. This is pure rich blood. Genevieve Carmichael grew up with money and nice things. She is 21 years old, has never been touched, and her own family threw her away." Cold, mean laughter spread through the crowd. Genevieve pushed herself against the back of the cage. She shook with fear. She thought she would die here. These creatures would drink all her blood, and her stepfamily would keep living their rich lives with no punishment. "We start the sale at $2 million, Dominic said. His black eyes shone with wanting more money. "3, someone called from the front. "4, another voice said from the dark sides. The offers went up fast. The numbers did not matter to these rich monsters who saw her as nothing more than special old wine. Genevieve closed her eyes. Hot tears ran down her face. "I will not let them," she thought. She looked around wildly for anything sharp to end her own life before they could take her. 10 million. The voice did not shout. It did not ring loud, but it cut through all the noise in the room like a sharp tool through grass. The whole room became quiet right away. The hungry sound stopped. The monsters stepped back and made a wide-open path in the middle. From the dark, big doorway came a man who seemed to make the light around him disappear. He was tall and wore a perfect dark suit that showed his strong body. His hair was neat, and his face bones looked very sharp. But his eyes stopped Genevieve's blood. They were bright red and glowed with old, held-back power. This was Nathaniel Croft. To normal people, Nathaniel Croft was a rich man in technology who stayed away from others and gave money to good causes. To the monsters in the room, he was like a king or a god. He ruled the night group. His family line went all the way back to the time when Rome fell long ago. He never came to sales of people. Dominic Mercer swallowed hard. The proud look on his white face disappeared. My ruler," he said, "we did not think you would come. I am honored. I offer 10 million. Nathaniel said the same number again. His voice was smooth like soft cloth, but carried scary strength. He walked slowly to the stage. His shoes made no sound on the stone. "Is anyone offering more?" No one made a sound. The other vampires were too afraid to even breathe or offer against their ruler. Nathaniel stopped in front of the stage. His red eyes looked straight at Genevieve. For a moment, the old violence in his look became softer. It turned into a strong wanting that made Genevieve breathe differently. "Sold," Dominic said in a shaky voice, and bowed. "To the ruler. If you will sign the book," Dominic started. "I did not bring money, Mercer," Nathaniel said softly as he stepped onto the stage. Dominic looked confused. "My king, I do not understand. The offer was 10 million. Nathaniel stopped him. "I do not pay low people in groups who sell stolen girls as brides." Before Dominic could think about the word brides, Nathaniel moved. It was not normal speed. It was a fast blur of total destruction. Nathaniel's hand went straight into Dominic Mercer's chest and broke the bones like dry sticks. Dominic made a sound, and black blood came from his mouth as Nathaniel pulled his hand back, holding the still-moving dark heart. With a quick move, Nathaniel crushed it into nothing. Dominic's body fell and turned into gray dust on the floor. The big room went crazy. Dominic's guards shouted and pulled out shiny knives and ran at the stage. Nathaniel did not even take out a weapon. He turned into unstoppable power. He grabbed one guard by the neck and pulled the head off in one move, throwing it into the crowd. He turned and broke another guard's arm, then kicked through the knee. Sounds of breaking bones and tearing filled the room over the screams of the rich people trying to run. But the heavy metal doors had closed and locked. No one could leave. "None of you are leaving," Nathaniel said. His voice had a special power that made every vampire in the room fall to their knees. The last guards dropped their weapons, frozen by the king's strength. Nathaniel stood in the middle of the blood and dust. He looked clean and calm. He took out a clean white cloth from his pocket and wiped the black blood from his hands carefully. Then he turned to the cage. With his bare hand, he grabbed the iron lock. The metal bent and broke under his strong hold until it shattered. He knelt in front of the scared, shaking Genevieve. He held his hand near her wet face. His red eyes looked into hers and saw all her fear, mixed-up feelings, and tiredness. "Do not be afraid of me, Genevieve," Nathaniel said softly. His voice changed from something that could destroy everything to something warm and safe. "How do you know my name?" she whispered. She could not look away from his eyes. "What are you going to do to me?" "I know your name because I have looked for you for more than 100 years, Nathaniel answered gently. He picked her up in his arms like she was as light as a feather. He held her close to his chest to block the bad sights in the room. "And what I am going to do, my queen, is take you home. Then I am going to visit your stepmother for a special reason." The change from the bloody underground sale room to complete safety felt like a fast dream to Genevieve. She remembered Nathaniel carrying her past all the kneeling, scared monsters. She remembered the cold night air on her face and the black helicopter waiting on a private landing spot near the River Thames. Most of all, she remembered the steady, strong feeling of Nathaniel's chest under her cheek. He did not have a normal heartbeat, but a deep, powerful sound that helped her tired mind fall into deep sleep without dreams. When Genevieve opened her eyes again, the bad smell and cage were gone. Warm golden sunlight came through tall windows that could stop bullets. She lay in the middle of a huge, comfortable bed with soft, fine sheets. The room was a very big main bedroom that looked like the best hotel in the world. She sat up. Her heart beat fast as she looked around. The room had simple but very expensive style, mixed with old, valuable things. A real old painting from long ago hung on one wall. A modern, clear screen showed pictures quietly on a glass table. She wore a nice, soft silk sleeping dress that was not on her body when she was taken. "I had my own workers help you. They were women, normal humans, and very careful not to talk," a voice said. Genevieve gasped and held the blanket tight. Nathaniel sat in a big chair in the corner, partly hidden in shadow. He had taken off the suit with blood on it, and now wore a clean white shirt with sleeves rolled up. In the daytime, his eyes were a deep, beautiful purple color instead of glowing red. "Where am I?" she asked. Her voice sounded rough. "You are in my private big house in the wild hills of Scotland, called the Dunrobin Sanctuary," Nathaniel answered. He stood up and moved with the same quiet, strong way until he stood at the end of the bed. "You are safe here, Genevieve. No secret groups, no dead people, and no normal person will ever touch you again. I give you my promise, as the ruler." Genevieve swallowed. Memories of the sale came back fast. The teeth, the gray dust that was once a rich man. You killed him. Dominic Mercer. You pulled his heart out." "I did," Nathaniel said. "He did not look sorry at all, and I would do it many more times for the bad thing of putting you in a cage." He reminded her of the question from last night about how he knew her name and why he had searched for her. "Yes," she whispered. She pulled her knees close. "I do not understand. I am only the forgotten daughter of a man who lost all his money in buildings. Why would a king want me?" Nathaniel sat on the side of the bed. Up close he looked so handsome it almost hurt to see. He took out a small old leather book from his pocket. The letters on it were C.C. "Your mother, Catherine Carmichael, was not just a woman who went to parties," Nathaniel said gently. "She was the last person from an old important family called the House of Valois. That family made agreements long ago with the Knight Group in the 1500s. For many years, women from that family and my kind were connected in a special way. You have something special in your blood that lets you rule next to the king and stay human without changing." Genevieve stared at him. Her mind tried to understand these impossible things. "My mother died in a car crash when I was 3. "It was not a crash," Nathaniel said. His face became tight. "It was a planned killing by some bad people in my own group who did not want a human queen. They tried to end the whole family line, or they thought they did. Your mother hid you with Arthur Carmichael. After she died, I could not find the trail. I'd have spent the last 18 years searching everywhere for you." Tears came to Genevieve's eyes. Her whole life was not what she thought. Her mother did not leave her. She died trying to protect her. "Beatrice," Genevieve said suddenly, with a bad feeling. "My stepmother. She always hated me. But the way she looked at me that night was more than just money." Nathaniel's eyes turned darker, going back to red. "Yes, my people read her secret messages this morning. She found out about your mother's family 6 months ago in a hidden box at the bank. She learned that on your 21st birthday, a big trust from the old family would come to you. That money is more than many countries have." Genevieve felt like she could not breathe. "She sold me to the monsters not just for the debt, but to remove me before I got the money." "She made a plan with Mercer," Nathaniel said in a cold, quiet voice. "He forgets the debts, and he gets to sell you as the big prize. Beatrice takes your money and says you ran away." Genevieve looked at her hands. For many years she had taken the mean treatment. She cleaned floors, wore old clothes from her stepsisters, and felt worthless while Beatrice and the girls lived rich. But this was too much. They planned to have her killed for money. A new strong feeling grew in her chest. It was not fear now. It was anger, clean, hot, and right. She looked up at the vampire king without being scared. "You said you would visit my stepmother for a special reason." Nathaniel smiled. It was a scary but beautiful smile that promised total end for bad people. He gently put a piece of her hair behind her ear. "I am, but this is your life now, Genevieve. This is your kingdom. I will let you enjoy seeing them fall. Will you come with me back to London?" Genevieve did not wait. Yes. Back in the Belgravia house, the Carmichael home was full of the sound of glasses and loud old music. Beatrice had spent a lot. She bought expensive champagne. The eating room had papers for money, travel books for rich places, and shiny jewels. Chloe and Madison laughed on the soft couch, while looking at expensive houses in another country on a tablet. "I still cannot believe it worked, Mother," Chloe said loud and laughing, drinking. The lawyers say the big trust money will be ours tomorrow morning. We are now super rich, and we never have to see Genevieve's sad face again. Beatrice stood at the main spot and looked at herself in a shiny plate. She looked very happy. The girl was always taking without giving. I just did what her father could never do. I removed the extra weight. Mercer's people work fast. By now she is probably in some far place, as a drink for a sick rich person. That is what she deserves. Do you think they really drink blood? Madison asked with a shake. But she smiled meanly too. Gross. Who cares? Beatrice made a face. We are free. We are rich. And tomorrow we leave this wet, cold city forever. The temperature in the room dropped so much that breath came out like white smoke. The heavy wooden doors did not open. They were pulled off hard and flew across the room, breaking the pretty light into many pieces. Chloe and Madison screamed and dropped their glasses. The room became dark and strange. The music stopped in a weird way. Through the broken doorway came Nathaniel Croft. He wore a perfect black suit and looked like the strongest hunter. The air around him felt heavy and made the three women fall to their knees without wanting to. But it was not the king that made Beatrice's heart stop. Behind Nathaniel came Genevieve. She was not the scared servant they betrayed yesterday. She wore a beautiful dark blue dress made by a famous designer. Around her neck was a perfect big diamond necklace with the old family sign. She stood straight, and her eyes were cold like the sea in winter. Genevieve, Beatrice gasped. All color left her face. No, that is not possible. Mercer took you. You were sold. Mercer is dead, Genevieve said. Her voice was strong and sure, in a way she never had before. She walked slowly into the room. Her nice shoes made clear sounds on the floor. He turned to ash right in front of me. And about being sold, Beatrice, it looks like you did not know how valuable I was. Nathaniel moved across the room in almost no time. He stood right behind Beatrice, with his hands on her chair. Being so close to the king made Beatrice cry in fear. You made a deal with a bad secret group, Beatrice Carmichael, Nathaniel said in a dangerous soft voice. You sold my queen. You tried to steal money that the night group agreed on. The old rules say the punishment for big betrayal against the ruler is complete removal. Please, Beatrice cried. Tears ruined her makeup. She lay on the floor begging. I did not know. I swear I did not know she was yours. Take the money, take the trust, take the house, take it all. I already have everything, Nathaniel said coldly. Take them. Beatrice suddenly pointed at her daughters who hid in the corner. Take Chloe and Madison. They are young and pretty. Use them, sell them, drink from them. Just save me. Please, save me. Chloe and Madison screamed in shock, looking at their mother with total hurt. Mother, how could you? Madison cried. Genevieve looked at the sad scene. Beatrice, the woman who hurt her for 10 years and treated her like dirt, was now offering her own daughters to save herself. It was disgusting. You are truly a monster, Beatrice, Genevieve said quietly. Worse than the creatures you sold me to. She turned to Nathaniel. The vampire king waited completely ready for her order. He was a powerful weapon that only needed her word. What is your order, my queen? Nathaniel asked. His voice showed deep respect that filled the quiet room. Genevieve looked at the stepsisters who laughed at her, and the stepmother who tried to erase her. Take away every bit of their money, destroy the secret bank accounts, sell everything they own, and make sure no bank in the world will help them again. And then, Genevieve's eyes became narrow. Leave them in the normal world they love so much. Let them feel what it is like to have nothing. Nathaniel smiled with his sharp teeth showing. A punishment worse than dying, for people like them. A blood debt must be paid, Genevieve. Genevieve looked at Beatrice, whose eyes were full of wild fear. You wanted to trade in blood, Beatrice, Genevieve whispered. Then pay the price. Nathaniel did not wait. He moved with fast, strong power. He did not kill them, because dying would be too easy. Instead, he held Beatrice's wrist and bit with his sharp teeth. He did not drink much, He put in a tiny bit of his special liquid, not enough to change her into one of them, but enough to give a curse. Beatrice screamed in pain as the liquid burned inside her like fire that would never go away completely. He did the same quick punishment to Chloe and Madison. Their screams mixed together like a song of payback. "This liquid will make sure you never rest well again," Nathaniel said, standing tall over the crying women on the floor. "You will feel the burning judgment from the king for all your sad human lives. And if you ever say Genevieve's name again, I will come back, and I will not be kind." Nathaniel turned away from the mess. He offered his arm to Genevieve. She took it and felt deep calm inside. The house that was once a prison of bad memories now felt empty. She had taken back her life, her family's story, and her future. As they walked out into the London night and left the crying, broken Carmichael family behind, Nathaniel pulled her close and put his dark coat around her. "Are you ready to go home, my queen?" he asked. His purple eyes shone with forever love. Genevieve leaned against the vampire king and smiled for the first time in many years. "Lead the way." This story teaches us important lessons about real life. Family should protect and love each other, but sometimes people choose greed and hurt their own. It shows that even when bad things happen and you feel alone or worthless, you can find strength inside. Standing up for what is right, even when it is scary, can change everything. True power comes from kindness mixed with courage, and good people, or kings, can help you rise. It also reminds us that revenge should be fair and not go too far. Leaving people to face normal life consequences can be the best teacher. Always remember your worth, protect your heart, and know that hidden strength and good friends can turn the darkest nights into a new beginning. Never give up, because your real story might be bigger than you think. Stay kind, learn from pain, and build a better future. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, share it, and subscribe so you don't miss my next video.